It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe Midday Show. Who's that behind you?
I don't know.
Who's that?
Archangel Casey.
Oh, that's Casey. She looks in the shadow. I couldn't tell who it was. Welcome to
Wisdom Reading Wednesdays.
Happy Hump Days. What I was gonna say.
I got a lot of reading to do.
It's funny. You have all those books,
I'll share them with you.
I have a small amount, cleverly put into a package. Because apparently I'm not allowed to say nothing. And listen, do me a favor, Karen and Sherry, if you can share out the show. I'm in jail until 1 o'clock. Apparently now they tell you everything is on the clock. Baseball's on the clock, football's on the clock. Facebook is on the clock. At 1 o'clock you can get out of jail.
Do you remember when, actually you don't remember because it was before our time, you used to rise with the sun and go to sleep when the sun went down. Now, it's not to the clock, you're to the minute. How much time do you snooze in the morning? How much time do you have to make your cup of coffee? Does it take more than 30 seconds to fill your water bottle? All these things. How many minutes does it take to do all of this and that? And then at the end of the day, and you go again.
I was going to ask all of you, you have a snooze button on your clock in the morning that rings,
Yep.
and then you shut it off and you go back to sleep?
I have a snooze on my Alexa.
You just need to
You
hold
got to talk it to your mic, Alexa. Say that again.
I said I asked my Alexa to snooze my,
Right.
10 minutes, 20 minutes, depending.
So it comes and puts some music or
So you
something.
say,
right?
so you wake up and you have to actually talk to somebody and say, Alexa, snooze.
Is that what you do?
I have
can do
I have
that.
a morning meditation that I start at 6 o'clock. I mean, a morning routine. And then I put it for 5:30 because I want to do my exercises before I start.
Why is
And
you
it's-
so complicated?
And it's
I'm only-
5:30, and I'm like, and Alexa says, your morning routine, and I'm like, snooze for 10 minutes.
Okay, so you go back to sleep.
No, I don't go. I just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I have to get up and do my exercise.
Okay, so but the point
really
here,
don't.
you have a right. You have a snooze button, and you hit it, and it snoozes again, and you hit it, and it snoozes again. You do this. Everybody does that.
Everybody
Is this
does
like a common American thing?
I've never used an alarm clock in my whole life.
So how do you get up?
I'm automatic.
Wow.
So I
What time
sleep-
do you automatically
I will
wake up?
sleep anywhere between 6 and 8 hours, and my body knows when to wake up, and I wake up at the appropriate time. Even if I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, like to catch a flight or something like that, my body knows. I will have my phone next to me, and I actually put it on airplane mode, so no one can disturb my sleep.
Wait a minute. Let me get this right. Your body wakes up when you tell it to.
Yes,
Really?
honestly.
So if you got to get up at 6, you wake up at 6.
I wake up at 6.
If
Or
you
I'll
need
wake
to
up
4:30.
at 5:30, but
Really?
yeah.
If you set an intention before you go to sleep
And it's been like
to
that
wake up
forever.
at whatever
in my life.
time, your body wakes up.
First of
I just
all,
never do
how
it.
can you tell me that when you're snoozing all the time? Because you snooze.
What time do you wake up?
5,
What time do you get out of bed?
7.
Oh my God.
I snooze for 2 hours.
I know. I know. That's
'Cause
why I said, what's going
I
on? You
used
said
to
I slept late.
snooze to fall asleep again and have another dream, and then snooze another dream. And I had like 20 dreams a morning. I kind of like
You
that.
snooze for 2 hours?
Yeah. Then sometimes I get upset because the stupid cat goes crazy. I knock in the door and everything else to get
I
up.
snooze for about 20 minutes. But it's not even 20, it's like 18. I don't know why my snooze is like on 9 minutes. There's probably a way to change that.
Now, Latinos snooze differently. Karen, you snooze for how many days? Because we have the mañana syndrome. And we says, I'll get to it later. And next thing you know, it's 11 o'clock, right? This happens to you.
Ahorita.
Ahorita. But you get up, it's 11 o'clock, and you snooze your whole morning away. That's why your system is very, very interesting.
My mornings are,
day.
I have a routine in the morning, but when I get up, I go through my routine, but I won't go anywhere or do anything for 2 hours. If I wake up at 5 or 5:30 or 6, it's just like I have a routine of doing things. I like do puzzles in the morning, New York
do
Times
puzzles
stuff.
in the morning?
I do puzzles.
I can barely
Word
crawl
puzzles.
out to make the coffee, and you're
Wow,
doing
that's
puzzles.
impressive, I got to tell you.
So am I very impressed.
Very impressive.
Don't be impressed.
I'm very impressed.
It's just my
Scared the hell out
craziness
of me.
about me, that's all.
We've got Arthur Tassinello joining us today. He is the host of Wisdom Cafe that airs today, every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. He's going to fill us in on what his topic is today. We've got Dr. Mandy in the house talking about her new book, The God Confidence.
Now, I got to ask you something about Doc.
I should have asked her.
She-
could use some new makeup too. But
She
yeah.
was in, we interviewed her at Del Rey and
No,
the
we
radio
interviewed her
station.
here.
Here?
She brought in amazing makeup. I have a whole.
When was this? Because she said it was here.
Last year
but
or
she-
2 years ago?
But she said she knew the
About
art
2 years
gallery.
ago.
Did we interview her up there too?
Probably. I don't know if we interviewed her up there. Maybe Alicia did. But we interviewed her here. She was back there. She had all her amazing makeup set up.
I remember her at the radio station. I don't remember her here.
She was here. I got some great lip gloss.
Oh,
some
that's
great
right. That's what
makeup. It was all about me
please.
that day. You know,
That's
as
why.
opposed to any other day.
Women empowerment, boy. When it runs
Oh,
every
we got
man
you.
over.
Diana. Diana's in the studio, Karen, and we got a whole crew working on things.
They have all these sound effects on
We
you.
got Rolls Royce in the doing her edits. She just says to me, she says, I don't know a whole lot about sound except what I listen to, and it's not very good. I'm like, well, you know a lot then.
Wow.
That's all it takes. And you walk in and say, doesn't sound very good. You'd miss the whole 30-minute conversation
I didn't know
build up
what. I didn't know it would take that long.
to that conversation.
It was overmodulated. Just
know.
lower it.
But if you lower that mic, then it lowers the other mics, and they're not all overmodulated.
Right. So you have to cut it. You got to cut the strip and put it on different lines.
So that's what we got to work on. Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
this is gonna be
I spoke
fun.
to Pamela Chanel today, and she's working on social justice. So we've got a new clip that Josh is going to be putting together for her. On
Social justice? What does that mean?
I got to show you the clip.
Oh,
It's about
Is that-
empowerment and change.
I see. And the newest thing that's come out now, don't become a fox.
That's you made that up,
No, it's one of these guys told me. What's his name? The guy that was here,
Arnie.
Don't become a fox.
Is that because of yesterday's ruling?
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't become a fox. Oh, look. Arthur, the light bulb.
Got that. I'm trying to. Where is this going? What is this Fox
You
thing?
know, a fox,
But
700 and what?
yeah, I got that. $787 million.
0.5.
0.5. I'm
Don't
sorry.
forget the 0.5. That's the biggest joke right now is the 0.5.
It's an interesting industry, is all I can tell you. It
Goes
is what
to
it
show.
is.
That's why you should be allowed to say what you should say, but you shouldn't lie about it. In other words, the Constitution allows you to say what you want correctly. Don't scream out of fire in the movie theater. Don't do that because you can hurt people. So that's not cool. But you should be able to say something, anything you want to say, as long as it don't hurt people.
Or as long as it's not offensive.
Yeah, but things have changed because I grew up saying things.
Offensive things.
No, I didn't grow up saying offensive things. I grew up,
Well, think
the
about it.
vernacular was the vernacular.
So Archie Bunker, when you and I were growing up, was acceptable sitcom material.
It wasn't. He did it on purpose. He did it to prove a point.
But it was
And
on
he was
TV.
successful
If
at it.
anyone put that out now,
You wouldn't be able to put Archie Bunker
Exactly
on it, but
my
I don't
point.
think that's fair.
But apparently they've done a whole data search on millennials that they find Seinfeld offensive.
But do you know how many jobs Archie
Seinfeld.
Bunker gave because of his sitcom? All the other ones that went in the reverse role, and they were all hilarious.
I think
Good
Archie Bunker,
times.
then it went to the Jeffersons, right, was a
All
spinoff.
of those.
They were all spinoffs
the
of
best. Wheezy. I love Wheezy.
One Day at a Time. All things that we grew up on that you could not put out now, they would find it offensive. But millennials apparently find Seinfeld
They
offensive.
find Dr. Seuss offensive.
But I turned on the TV last night, and the only thing I could find were cop shows shooting and killing people, and that seems to be acceptable content.
Yeah, like Wick.
I had to turn it off because that's so. You imagine going to bed at 11 o'clock, and the last thing you see is somebody's dead on the ground, and then it flips to the news.
And then I see him the next day on the news about what a great movie I made.
You know, and then you wonder why people are anxious and angry and quick to pull.
Well, I think
a
it
gun
has a
out.
lot to do. Don't be a fox. They really hurt people by lying. There were marches on the government because of it.
Yeah, I don't understand how they were allowed to do that.
Because they're saying that they had nothing to do with that.
But if someone said to you,
Yeah.
Freddie, you need to say this on air
They
because our
do this all the
advertisers want
time.
you to say it, would you say it?
How much money they giving me?
What if it's
What
hurtful, offensive, and not true? Would you do it?
But this is the
Even
reason.
if they paid you $1
but
million.
But this is why Fox got penalized $787 million. That's not the end of it. They're gonna have to pay some other people
But
for
if
doing
you
what they
worked
did.
for, I don't want to say Fox, any news station, and they say, Freddie, and you're on the prompter, you have to read this line, and you know in your heart it's wrong. And you know it's going to stir controversy
They
in the
don't
world.
think it was wrong
How do you know?
because they said it. They says, I don't think we did anything wrong. We reported the news. Now, it might not be the news you want to hear, but it don't mean that the news is not correct. That news was false. That news was completely
So
wrong.
would you report false news?
Not, wow. No, but I
What if
probably
somebody
get fired
paid you, but nobody got fired?
because they reported it.
That's what I'm saying.
Then they didn't say, listen, I'm about to tell you a lie. Don't listen to this. But he won the election.
That's what I'm saying. It's a slippery slope. It goes against integrity, right? If someone's going to pay you for your image, your likeness, you're Freddie, and everyone knows you stand for a red book, whatever it is, and suddenly you say, I don't like the red book, I like the blue book,
All right, I got one for you.
but it's your integrity,
No, I
it's your
get you.
name.
I get you. I got one for you.
Okay.
9/11 happened, right? The buildings went down, New York City. There was a lot of hate in the street. A lot of hate towards Muslims and things of that nature, correct? We can agree on that.
Correct.
So yesterday I was watching a show where two cops went in and they arrested people that were alleged put into this whole ensemble of bringing down these buildings. And a lot of people got hurt. A lot of Muslims got killed by the NYPD. This is what the show says, right? Come up to today and they find out that the son of the Muslims that were killed now have a bomb. And they want to blow up one police
a TV
plaza.
show?
Yeah.
Okay.
They want to blow up one police plaza. And they found out that one of those guys threw one of the Muslims off a building and killed him, right? And the son is the one that they caught that was going to blow up one police plaza. So he starts screaming about the obscenities towards the cop that was sitting right where Diana is. His partner, who helped capture these people, did not know that that cop had thrown a Muslim off the building. And they were buds. They caught a lot of bad people. They caught a lot of bad people blowing up the Trade Center. His wife got cancer because she worked in the Trade Center. They really blew this thing up. She has what they call zero cancer, which is a real thing
From ground zero, okay.
from ground zero. He wore a wire to get him busted about throwing the guy off the building. Would you have done that?
You lost me at the wire in the sun. I lost
The
the
two
story.
guys were together,
Yes.
right? He threw the guy off the building. So the FBI wants to get this guy for murder.
Would I wear a wire to
Which
catch
you
them?
were wired to get the guy in trouble and get him in jail. They were buds. And he made him
If he
tell
did
the truth.
something wrong,
He threw a guy off a building.
then that would be wrong.
But in 2001, it was what was happening.
I know.
So was he wrong?
Yes,
Was he wrong? Do you know how
100%.
angry people were?
doesn't matter. In
Were
your
you
heart,
in New York?
Doesn't matter, because in your heart, you know who you are and what you believe in.
Yeah, but then the slippery can get slippery slope. You went to Nam?
Doesn't mean all Vietnamese
My
people are
cousin
bad,
went to.
though.
I understand. There's a lot of gives and takes, but sometimes
It's like
things are
like
what
World War
they
II.
are.
Doesn't mean all German people are bad. Hitler happened to be a bad guy with
I
a
understand-
bad following.
I understand that, but sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment, things happen.
Not
So-
if you're
so-
true to your heart. Sorry.
So I don't understand how Dr. Seuss all of a sudden can't be read.
They say it's offensive. Some of the
They
books.
say there's so many
Put
days.
me in the zoo, apparently.
I grew up with Dr. Seuss. I'm not a crazy person.
I feel like maybe we should revisit the books.
I think
and
we
see
should
which
find out
ones.
who days are. Maybe we should talk to the days.
I believe that video games where you're shooting and killing people as you're the person doing it and hurting all these people, which I think maybe is the reason why we have all these mass shootings,
Agreed.
is a lot worse than Dr. Seuss.
But Dr. Seuss gets taken out of everywhere, and the games are still playing.
Well, listen to this. We did a show yesterday that's airing Thursday night on Meet the Experts. There was a gentleman here, and his foundation finds people that have been exploited and moved around for human trafficking. So he just found a girl 10 years in Mexico. They found her, and they found her 2 kids because it was rape, it was molestation, it was a terrible situation, and comes back here, right? And he says COVID was a huge problem with human trafficking. It's like putting your children in a room of 10,000 strangers and say, go play, is what the internet is like. You're putting your kids on a computer with 10,000 strangers that can be predators to your child. And as parents, we say, go play games, go play video games. Go chat with Susie next door, but Susie's really not next door. Susie could be a 68-year-old man who then abducts you and does. So he said, we wouldn't allow our children to walk into a stadium filled with strangers and leave them alone. Why do we allow our kids on the computers to do this? And was a great point that he made. So that show's going to air on Thursday.
That has a lot to do with, you ever notice that when you catch your kids doing something wrong, they say, you don't trust me. What a cop out that is. You don't trust me. I know what I'm doing. Meanwhile, they're talking to strangers. Gio used to play video games all over the world.
My son, I would, as punishment, I was never one to hit my children. So my punishment, my daughter I never had to punish. My son, on the other hand,
Don't say this on TV because you may go to jail.
he knows.
It's not about he. Some attorney somewhere around the world will say, let's arrest her. I'm telling you. You can't say nothing.
As a whatever, as a punishment, I took the video games away from him. And I took the controls, I took everything I thought possible. And when I go to sleep, I don't wake up. But my husband would be the one to get up at whatever time of the night to go to the bathroom. And he heard something downstairs. Really, really, really low. And he went down, and my son, I don't know how he got controls. I don't know how he got anything.
He was playing the game.
He was playing video games.
Yeah.
It's an addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an addiction.
I'm going to give you another one. Dawn used to have ducks. You see all the ducks all over the studio?
Yes.
We got thousands of ducks. Somebody sent us 100 ducks once. And she used to throw them at me. And I got a phone call from an attorney that wanted me to sue Dawn for assault. Remember this? On the
get some more
iHeart. We were on iHeart.
Do you think he was a little desperate for business?
I thought it was a joke. He says, Freddie, she's doing this on iHeartRadio. This was at the iHeartRadio studios we were at on 42nd. And I said, bro, what are you, crazy? He says, no. We can get her. I got film.
Forget ambulance chaser, the duck chasers now.
So this is what days are. When she says days don't want this,
The
they don't want,
days?
these are the days.
All I say is you got to do what feels right in your heart. And if it doesn't feel right in your heart and it's got that glitch and you say, I shouldn't do it, don't do it. That's all I got to say.
And all I got to say is,
Live from New York now.
no, all I got to say is that I think that if you can't laugh at yourself, you got an issue. You know, Chico and the Man, Freddie Prinze used to laugh at himself until he didn't. until they put so much pressure on that poor kid, they committed suicide.
Yep.
But if you can't laugh at yourself, we got a bigger issue here. You know, Dr. Seuss, in my world, was entertaining when I was a kid. I don't remember anything about colors or gays or, you know, this has just gotten so out of hand. I mean, I got this little princess that was born.
Oh, yes.
And I'm
going
going to teach her the truth. This is Gio keeps his kids
Gio,
away
I don't
from
know.
me.
He should teach him the truth, Gio.
But you know
No.
something? They're either going to learn the truth from grandpa or they're going to learn from the streets. And I'm going to tell you, the streets are vicious because they're going to teach you
You got to watch
wrong.
episode 3 of Mrs. Maisel before you do that.
You know why I don't watch that show? You know why I don't watch that show?
'Cause
It
it's
reminds
true.
me of the Maalox. Is that what it's called? When you stir that stuff up to drink it or go to the bathroom? Is that?
Miralax?
No.
Yeah. So Mace is I don't know. Every time you say the word, I see the spoon turning in that glass.
I got to tell you, it hits way. And if you're a Jewish family and from New York, you got to really, really watch it because it was so anxiety provoking for me last night. I'm watching it. My dad's texting me. My dad's faxing my cell phone yesterday instead of my house phone. I'm watching this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go to bed. It was way too
You
much
have me
stress.
watching all these shows all of a sudden.
Yes.
What's the name of that show that you have me watch with the soccer team?
Oh, Ted
Oh,
Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Oh my God, that is the most hilarious show I've ever seen.
It is.
See?
And then what about the one with Stallone in Utah?
Mafia King.
Oh my goodness gracious! And I even had a free. You know how they give you like a free. Otherwise, it was $10.99. I wasn't gonna pay $10.99 to watch one show. Now I may end up having to watch it because he is hilarious.
Which one? Ted Lasso?
Both of them, but Stallone is good in that role. He's like a New Yorker out in the boonies. It's hilarious.
That's it. All right, let's take a commercial
But
break.
Dr. Seuss, they take off the air. I mean, I'm
Yes.
just saying, Dr. Seuss over here, Ted Lasso over there. You tell me what's right and wrong.
Yeah, Mafia King. You can blow up anything you want, but you can't. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
All
That's
right,
what
more
I
to
got
come. Give us a call, 888-994-4995. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties, open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, Contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
There is no way to ignore it. You hear it on the news, online, from your friends and family. What happened to my money? Whether it got hit by falling stocks and bonds, with the coronavirus, shrunk by a floundering 401k with low interest rates, and is riding the extreme ups and downs of the stock market with political elections. Many Americans are worried about their money and how they're going to retire. Help protect your financial future now and call J.D. Melberg for your complimentary book from a leading financial firm that shows you ways not to run out of money whether the market goes up or down. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can protect your money for a lifetime. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits of annuities from hundreds of top-rated insurers, helping you to find ways to get up to 33% more income in retirement. That's right. 2 books, both absolutely free, for calling J.D. Melberg. Help protect your financial future.
Call 877-643-3015.
Are you compromising your medical care for doctors out of your network? Are you tired of dealing with referrals to see a specialist? Are you aware that you can save up to $155 a month on your Medicare premiums? You need an all-in-one benefits company that can help with all of your Medicare plan needs. Call today, All-in-One Benefits Group at 954-614-5488. We're here to find an all-in-one plan for you. 954-614-5488. Call today for open enrollment.
Do you have an idea for a show or a podcast? Do you want the opportunity to be on TV? Amp Media Productions is partnered with True Oldies Real Radio Station and powered by many online platforms such as Roku, Facebook, YouTube, and even Amazon Fire to help amplify your impact. Do you want your voice to reach a wide audience? Call us today at 866-224-5422.
South Florida's Good Time Oldies. Now, Boca and Delray Beach have their own oldie station. Catch us on 95.3 FM. It's the greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s. On South Florida's Good Time Oldies, 95.3 FM.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
He plays this every time the Mets lose.
Did they lose?
Yeah. 5-0.
I owe you an apology.
Yeah, you do, more than one.
Friday is a Heat game. Home.
I know, to play Milwaukee.
You told me that, and I thought you were just making it up to harass me about not taking the
No,
bright
I
line
told
down
you.
to this
No,
event.
no. I told you that the Heat had to play Chicago, and they beat them to get into the playoffs.
No, we were talking about this event Friday night that's down at University of Miami for Flow,
there's a Heat game.
Future Leaders of the World, and there's a Heat game Friday, and I thought, oh, I actually owe you an apology because I thought you were just teasing me.
Yeah,
When
go
is
ahead.
that?
You can leave right now. You get there. You try to go to Miami on a Friday. Anybody ever go to Miami on a Friday? You guys have been, ladies, you've been to Miami on a Friday?
Well, I was
It
thinking,
takes you 2 days.
Miami any day,
I
at
was
any
thinking
time.
of taking the Bright Line Friday night. There's an event down at University of Miami. Teen actors team with local production
So
company
go.
to tackle
You
health
just have to leave
disparities
now.
in educational PSA. I'm going to send Aaron and Ashley, I think. But yes, that's Friday night down at UM.
I used to work in Miami, down at the district, the design district. And on Friday mornings, I used to stay till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning at the store because trying to get out of Miami is horrible. Trying to get into Miami is even worse. So I'm telling her, you're not going to make this event unless you leave Thursday. And she thinks I'm making fun of her. It's like the cat.
You go the night before, get a hotel room, relax.
It's going to cost you $1,000 to do this free event.
So I'm going to send Aaron. I sent it to Aaron and Ashley. I said, Ashley, I think you would like this event. I don't hear from her. She's working. My son says, I think I want to go. So
Go, leave
hopefully
now.
Well, he lives there, so hopefully he'll go.
It don't matter if you live there. Unless you're right next to the University of
He is.
Miami, it makes no difference. And then walking over there is another problem.
He can take the metro. Anyway, I want to talk to Dr. Mandy, the God Confidence, transforming into God's version of yourself. So Dr. Mandy was here. We met her, I guess, quite a few years ago.
Her
She's
son
one
was
of our other hosts.
a young boy at the time, right?
I don't think I met your son.
baby.
Through
He was
Alicia.
a baby, yeah.
And then you were here. You brought the baby here a couple years
did.
ago, right? We just got to get you closer to the mic.
I did bring him here 3 years ago. I did.
And then
Almost
she
2 years
texted.
And I met her at the radio station. She don't remember the radio station.
Someone was in here yesterday and I remember who it was, the guy who's doing this event. I was at another studio and I was on this show and that
He
show.
was at the radio
And
station
I said,
too.
you're at the radio station. That studio doesn't exist anymore. He says, yes, I was there a couple years ago. That doesn't exist anymore. Everything's here.
I remember him.
But then Mandy, she's always so beautiful. An amazing line of makeup you have put out. I'm going to have to order more. I was hoping she was going to bring it, but no. I'll have to bring you back with some new makeup. Everyone says to us, who does hair and makeup here when they come to be interviewed? I said, you're kind of on your own. But we'll have to talk to Mandy about that. The God Confidence, transforming into God's version of yourself. This is an amazing book, and it's a workbook. Today I will do different.
Yeah, that's at the end of the book.
That's at the end of the book. Tell us about this book.
Well, the God Confidence book is basically a book that God has given me a strategy to help people walk in their purpose confidently. A lot of people are not answering the call is because they lack confidence. They don't know who they are and whose they are. So he's given me different keys and strategies to help you take on the world and know that you can do it. Everything that he's placed inside of you is enough to do it.
So we have the secret sauce inside of us, and you help people get it out?
Yes, pretty much.
She smiles and laughs.
Well, we were talking, there's the fear of failure, and then there's the fear of success. Right? So there's a lot of fear. So you're afraid to do anything because what if you do it and you fail? But what if you do it and you're successful, but you don't know what to do with all that success? And are you deserving of that success? So then you've got the fear of success also.
Yes, that's true.
So
But you need the confidence to overcome the fear.
So in the first chapter, we tackle fear. Because if you're going to walk in this God confidence, the confidence that he's placed in you, the first thing I go with the audience is to be able to tackle the spirit of fear. Because that is not something that God has given us. But like you said, you were talking earlier, the things that are on TV that people ingest in their subconscious and unconscious mind, it kind of like filter their perception of the world and the world around them. So the very first thing that we do is basically to tackle fear. Where does fear come from? How do people get fear? How do we attack it and to overcome it so you can walk in your God confidence? A lot of people are fearful to step out in their dreams because they don't believe that they can actually make it. They don't believe that they have everything in them that they need to be able to tap into their purpose. So if the first thing we can do is tackle fear, because God did not give us that. He gave us love. He gave us a sound mind. So if we can tap into that love and sound mind, it trumps fear. So that's the first thing we tackle in that book.
Well, how do you do that? Do we have to turn off the noise, like TV, bad music? Don't be a fox.
Well, first, I'm going to say buy the book. Well, the first thing I did to tackle fear is I got into the presence of God. I had to get to know who I was as an individual. What did God say about me? My identity and who I was as a woman in this world, my identity in this season of my life. So I had to get into God's presence. He downloaded nuggets. It built my confidence to know that I'm not by myself. I'm not alone. That no matter what I've been through, I'm not who I've been through. I'm not what I've been through. So when we can begin to peel these layers off, the way I do that is getting in his presence, getting into his word, discovering who I am, what he says about me. That's how I overcame fear, pretty much, yes.
But you know, it's interesting because I met you a couple of times now, a few times, and you bring strength. And that's a big, big selling point to believing some of the things that you're saying. Some of the people that I've met, especially women that I've met, they don't have that strength.
Even though delivers confidence.
But this is just the real deal here is that you got to get this strength. And she's talking to me, I can feel the vibe from all the way over here.
Right? Yeah.
Right? You feel it. And
she is strong.
And
she feels strong.
She has this thing that you better listen up, because I'm about to tell you where it's at. And there's a whole different science to that, And I love the example when we go outside to the schools and we meet the kids that are there. And they're smart, they're brilliant, they're forgettable. They can blow up the world, but they're sort of restrained. They don't have that. So how do we get motivated to go towards your level? Because to get to your level is going to take time. But how do we get motivated to get these people towards your level?
So in the book, there are different strategies that God downloaded in my spirit, because I was not always like this, right? We don't go to sleep a blunder and wake up a wonder overnight. It is a process, right? So the book is a shortcut. So you don't have to go through what I've been through, because I didn't have a teacher to show me how to be empowered. And sometime by default, God allows you to go through certain things so you can empower somebody else. So you become that Superman or that champion for that thing that you did not have, so you can empower someone else. I didn't have the blueprint to it. Like I said, I had to get in God's presence. I had to get to know who I was, who he said that I was, versus what the world was telling me that I was. Or when I was growing up, the world told me, oh, you're too big, or you're too dark, your nose is too big. I had to know that I was fearfully and wonderfully made. So it didn't matter, that's your opinion, but that does not have to be my reality. My reality tells me is that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and I believe that thing. So because I had to go through the process and God had to give me certain downloads, this is why I'm extremely passionate about empowering women, empowering others. Like, hey, you can pursue your purpose with passion. You're not your environment. You're not what you've gone through. You're not the label or the stigma that people try to put on you, that there's a greater purpose on the inside of you. God has downloaded something that the world needs. This is why you're here. But because people are walking out the labels, the stigmas that people have told them, this is who you are. So they have now fashioned their world around what people say, instead of walking out what they created have already placed on the inside of them. So this is why I tell, hey, if you can tap into your God confidence, there's not a thing that you can't do. There's not a dream that you can't walk out of, because there's a God confidence that you have to tap into. So fear can't grip you when you tap into that God confidence. That dummy down syndrome, when you get around other people, you try to dumb down who you are to make other people feel comfortable. That can no longer grip you, because you know who you, oh God, all right. Let me slow down.
You're doing great.
Because I'm about to take it to church. Let me slow down.
I was going to say amen.
I was going to say amen.
But the spirit of what you are presenting is so real. And I'm just letting you catch your breath, because it is so needed. I mean, the real bottom line here is that there's a ton of kids, of people that we've known, even the last couple of weeks, that if they sat in front of her and just pay attention.
But how many, you probably don't do this, but to dumb yourself down when you're around other people, to make people either feel empowered or because you don't think they can handle all of you. I go out for dinner with other couples all the time. When I actually don't dumb myself down, I actually say, this is what I do. My girlfriend said, you did what? And you did it twice? And you stood up for yourself? I can't believe you did that. I'm thinking, if you think that's something, you should actually really know who I am and what I do every day.
You dumb things now?
I never thought of calling it a dumb it down, but
I
yes,
never heard of that.
I bring it down because you don't think people can actually handle who you are. Or you don't do that. You are who you are all the time.
No, Freddie's who he is. That's why I like
Freddie. He is what he is.
Oh my goodness, I want to be like you.
But don't you think it's different for women? Do you think as women we dumb ourselves down more than men?
I think it's a lot to do with more women that does that. Where if we get into the room with other powerful women, you either feel that you don't belong there, or you're around people that does not celebrate who you are authentically. You try to change or camouflage to be somebody else, to appease somebody else. And that's also in the book. I call it the dumb down syndrome. You don't have to dumb down who you are, because the problem is, the reason why some of us attract fake people, because we're fake, right? If we show up authentically in who we are, the people that God has assigned to our voice will find us. This is why you can't dumb down who you are. You've got to be who you are. Everybody is not for us. My cup of tea may not be Dawn's cup of tea, or your Freddie's cup of tea may not be mine, but that's okay. We celebrate each other's differences, but don't dumb down who you are. So you got to show up authentically in the room, and whoever God has assigned to your voice will find you.
Now, what happens when you run into somebody and they go, oh my God, she is talking right through me. And all of a sudden, and you can see that people start going back in their seat. Like, whoa, she's going to reveal me. She's going to see that I do. I never heard of the word dumb down. I'm going to tell you, we had to talk after the show because that is a powerful statement. I didn't realize that that's what a lot of people do.
But I never even thought of it in those terms. You know, when I'm writing the newsletter, sometimes I'll simplify what I'm writing, or another dumbing it down to get people's attention, because people don't even want to think when they're reading anymore. They just want a quick answer. But I never thought about dumbing down art myself when I'm in a room of people, because they can't handle who I really am. But instead of doing that, if we do be our authentic selves, can you imagine the power that we can create?
But what are you doing? You start seeing people start retracting because you're talking at
I
them.
have to pull them back because I'm not here to make you feel small. I'm an empower. Like, if I get in the room, you give me the mic, you're going to feel empowered by the time I'm done.
Sure.
That's just who God created me to be, right? So I can only be what I was created to be. What I didn't have, I became, so that other people can have. That's the same thing. Whatever you went through or whatever you didn't have, it's just ironically you become that superwoman.
How did you do this at such a young age, though?
Yeah.
How did I do this?
I mean, you're not 40, you're not 50, you're young.
I'm 37.
You're
You
young.
got an eternity life of accomplishment just talking this way.
You know, people in their women in their 50s are just now trying to find themselves. Women in their 30s, and you've got a baby, he's 3, but in a career and a makeup career and
you got a new
looks
husband.
and everything you do.
I'm dying to meet him. When you go home, you say, whoa, let me tell you. I mean, how is that relationship? Can you imagine?
So here's what I hear a lot, and I see a lot, which is confident people in a room. Other people will see them as arrogant sometimes because of their power and their confidence. I've had that said to me from other people at
That
times
you're
too.
arrogant? Really?
Yeah, because I had such confidence and I was so sure of my beliefs and what I was doing.
Right.
And people see that. I've seen that. I've done that to other people too, until I really got to know them. My first impression type of thing, the judging of people. We judge people
But I
immediately.
love what she says.
No, I love it
other
because
people's opinion is none of my business.
yeah, and sometimes we get into a room and we just want to fit in, so we maybe play ourselves down a little bit, which is not the place to be either.
But you're not telling
Yeah.
anyone you should do this. You're not telling people you should. You should listen to me, because I say that. You're saying be your authentic self.
Listen to yourself.
Tap into your power and be who you are. You're not telling anyone to do anything that you did or be you. They should be who they
Whoever
are.
God has called. Okay, because obviously, for example, right, you have different people. You got athletic people. They're swimmers. Their body types are designed for what they were called to do. You understand what I'm saying? You have singers. They have a certain sound. Their voice box was designed for what it was designed to do. Whatever it is that God has placed you in this realm to do it audaciously. I like to use that word. Do it authentically and be yourself. We all don't have the same call. We all are not assigned to the same people. We all are not assigned to the same thing. But whatever it is, do it in confidence. Show up. Don't dumb down who you are, because too much people walk in this low vibration because we're trying to appease people that's not for us anyways. Whoever God has called you, assigned to you, will come to you, but be your highest self. I can't dumb. I've done it for so long, dumbing down who I am. It got me nowhere because I was not my authentic self. But God told me the minute you begin to show up and how I created you to be, you're going to get the result that you're looking for.
So you're doing this at a high pitch frequency.
Yes.
Okay, so when I ask the producers who is the best, are you the best at what
I
you
believe
do?
I'm the best.
Thank
at
you.
What
You know
I
what?
do.
You know
it's
what?
not arrogance.
I'm gonna tell you, lady. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not arrogance.
It's not arrogance. I've been through a process to get here. That's the same thing with you. You've been through a process. This is why you can't dumb down who you are. You've had people walked out and you lied on you, or maybe you've had deals that you wanted to come through that did not come through at the time. You've gone through a process to becoming who you are. This is why it's it's a word I like to use, like, woe unto you to dumb down who you are. All these things you've gone through in life, these lessons you had to learn and pass for you to get to where you are, just to dumb down who you are to appease somebody. That does not give God glory. You don't glorify your maker by dimming your light. No, you need to let your light shine bright in whatever field he has called you to. We do ourselves a disfavor when we dim our light because we don't want to offend our sister because she has not found out who she is yet. But because God knows who she is and she command the room. No, go in the room and take charge. It is what it is. You love yourself, and people see that about you, and that's okay. And sometimes it intimidates others who may not like themselves, or they have not gotten to the point to embracing who they are. That's not your problem.
Yeah, she's right. You know, she's right. And
Amen.
well, I gotta tell you,
Amen.
we've gone to certain functions, and I didn't do it. I never went. And Dawn used to say to me for years, why aren't you going? Why aren't you going? And the reason I didn't go, and I never told her, is because people call me arrogant. And I didn't want to hear those words. Because I decided that their words seemed to dictate who I should be or not be. Now, I don't give a flying goose. You can call me anything you want. Makes no difference to me. You want to call me arrogant? Okay. All I want is the damn ball, like the book said. Like the book said. All I want is the ball. I want to carry it. I am the best at what I do. Not only, and this thing about this room for improvement, I'm going to tell you something. Every day I go into that room and look for improvement. Because not only am I going to be the best, I'm going to be the greatest. I saw a clip from Muhammad Ali yesterday when he went to fight against George Foreman. And as they're entering the tunnel, he turns around and he says, why are all of you looking scared? He had like a big entourage, right? The cutter and all this. Why are you looking scared? And they didn't say nothing. He says, I'm the one fighting and you're supposed to be my back. And you're scared? The hell are you scared for? And they just went on and on. And then he walked in there and he beat Foreman to a pulp. Now he got hit. He says, it ain't about getting hit, it's about getting up, right? So I love the fact that what you're saying, because our youth today, our kids, the kids that are graduating today, they need to understand it, they need to feel it, and they better believe it. Because tomorrow's future, which involves all of us, counts on that. So I love that message.
Are you doing coaching programs?
I am.
Are you doing speaking engagements? How do people get your message? Because your book is amazing. It's a shortcut. It's an easy, quick read to understand it. But the way you deliver it,
that's the difference.
You have to hear it. I'm already in my head. I'm ready to send this to the kids to clip it up because what you're saying is so powerful. How are you working with women, people, to get the message out? I know you've got your makeup line, and that's the outside. How are you doing this on the inside for them to hear you? Oops.
Well, in February, I did a women empowerment event with the city of Deerfield Beach. I partnered with them, and we had a ultimate makeover experience. So they were not just getting the makeup artist of Dr. Mandy, they were getting the empowerment side of her as well. So I do that. I have a conference coming up in August where we're doing our 10th annual Discover the Beauty Within extravaganza. It's a business expo and conference. So we get different speakers from across South Florida to empower women, and we've just added men in there too, so it's not just for women, men as well. So these are the different things that I do. If people book me to be a speaker, I do motivational speakers. I have gone into schools, spoken to students to empower them. I do have a coaching program. If somebody needs one-on-one coaching, I do offer that. I do have a masterclass that I am working on to come out with the God Confidence Masterclass to teach people and empower them how to tap into that God confidence. So they can look out for that. Follow me on my website, so more updates to come.
How do you walk in a room and command confidence without them saying, oh, well, she thinks she's all that? I know it doesn't matter what other people think of you because you have to clear that noise. But it's not easy for people to clear that. I can walk into a room now and I really don't care what people think. But it took me a long time to get there. I'm on the other side of 55. Certainly wasn't there in my 30s. Certainly wasn't there in my 40s when I met you. Certainly wasn't there when I was raising my kids.
But you there now. You
I
can only
agree.
work
And
on
you
the
said
now.
something, and you said something extremely important, that you can't dim yourself down because the people you're vibrating at aren't the people who are meant to be with you. And I did that for so long, too long. I was always different. I was the odd one in my family, in my school, and with my friends. I would always, like you said, dim it down. And I didn't do myself any service. And it took me a while, like you said, on the other side of 55, close to 6. I'm going to be 60 this year.
You look good.
And thank you. And it took me a long time to get where I don't care what you think. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My kids don't know what to do with me. I told Freddie that. My kids don't know. They're like, Mom, when you growing up? I'm like, never, ever.
But they got their own things to worry about.
But your message is powerful, Mandy. Your delivery is
The
spectacular.
delivery's there,
Take us
absolutely.
all to church because I think everyone needs.
Why not?
Truly, why not bring? Because you got to bring church to you instead of you to church. You got to bring the mountain to Muhammad sometimes.
Correct. Yes.
Because things have changed. Everyone is so busy
Yes.
that they're not going to church. They're not going to synagogue. They can't find their way sometimes because we're trying to afford groceries, right? Even our crew. Someone single, I was talking to them the other day. Her Publix bill was $300. She's one person. So you got to bring church to people because they need to find who they are.
When you look around you, Dawn, it's a bunch of noise. Noise. And when people learn to shut that down, some people do it through meditation, some people do it through yoga, but I get into the presence of God, into the Word, and just begin to affirm myself and who God tell me that I am, versus what people tell me that I should be. Because when you take, because that's in the book too, affirm yourself, when you take time to do that and you step out in the world, people can't tell you who you are because you knew who you was before you stepped out. You affirmed yourself. You spoke things into existence. You spoke things that be not as though it was already is. So when you walk in the room, people can't say, "Oh, Dawn, you're too flashy." No, honey, I'm confident. It's not arrogant. It's confidence. There's a difference. And people sometimes blur the line. They say, "Oh, you're arrogant." Arrogant is when people try to make it all about them. Now that's arrogant. I understand. But confident says, I know who I am.
Yep.
Your opinion about me doesn't matter because I knew who I was before I walked out the house. So, and sometimes people get irritated with that because they don't know who they are or they have not tapped into that side yet.
It scares people.
Yes.
It's tough to
teaching
look
people.
up at the sun, as they say. Try staring at the sun. It's tough.
But everyone has the ability to tap into their power, their God-given gifts. God's given everybody a gift, and it's always different.
The only thing that's different is that
Just got to peel the layers back and find it.
How much of it you're going to accept it, how much you're going to use it, and how much you're actually going to believe. Because, you know, you have bad days. Everybody has a bad day.
Yeah.
It exists.
It
and
does.
It keeps you even. Because if it was all good, how'd you know what's bad?
Exactly.
You know, back in the
Keeps
day,
you humble.
when my grandfather and my grandmother, they taught me the same thing you're saying, and they wouldn't use the word God, because back in the day, people hear the word God and they run. They think you're trying to preach to them. So they used to say word. Word of the day, this is word. And then it became shorter and shorter and word. And some of the kids that come in here, like Vlad and stuff, when they hear me say certain things, they'll go word. And I remember that back in the day, just to stay away from God, because apparently people were afraid that they were going to church and that would make them different from all their other friends who weren't going. You know, sometimes you want to be different. You want to be able to do some of the things that the artists do in here to make you different. You just don't understand how to turn different into better. I don't want to hear about room to be better.
That's okay to set the bar high.
I understand that, but set the bar. Take your shot. Believe. See, what I love about your confidence is that it walks in the room before you do. I mean, that's just the bottom line of the way you do business. And I see that the last word here was Frederick. Who's Frederick?
That's her last name.
I know. It's right here.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just missing the K.
For you?
I mean, but I love the fact. Yes. All right.
I just want to add that I feel blessed to be here with Mandy today because you are a powerhouse and your words are powerful and your words are true. And I love that because I'm a God-fearing guy. And God has always been on my side, and I'm in gratitude to him or her every single day for what I have. So you are power, and I love it, and I love learning from you as well. So
You
you're
know,
amazing, and thank you.
It's
And I love you.
It's important. You don't know Arthur's short story. We're going to get into that after the commercial break. And also Karen's story. They got a couple of stories in here about how they had to rise from the ashes, some more ashes than others. And they turned it around. And what you're looking at here is a lot of what you've been talking about. So it's kind of cool that she's here when they're here at the same time.
What's your website and how do people follow you?
They can go to mandyfreshfrederick.org/shop. You'll find the book available there. You'll also find all the makeup cosmetics there as well. So you guys can definitely check me out. Again, I do have a masterclass that I'm currently working on. It's going to be the Confidence Masterclass, just to help people tap into that side and let them know that they have purpose. Like, you don't have to, your reality doesn't have to be where it is. You can always alter your reality. It's just a perspective and a paradigm shift.
Amazing.
You're gonna play big. You might as well look good.
Play big. Go
Are we
big
gonna
or
take
go home.
commercial?
We're going to
Let me
take a
get her a
commercial
mic.
break. When we come back, we're going to come on this Wisdom Wednesday. Be Your Audacious Self, The God Confidence by Dr. Mandy. Check it out. Stay tuned. 888-994-4995, Studio A. And we'll be right back.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? What would you do if you had a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times treatment is fully covered, so why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed by law to take off time from work, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are two good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call us right now and save a life.
Call 855-350-4504. That's 855-350-4504. Call 855-350-4504 now.
Want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call, because the best prices are not online. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner. Call today and get the best price on your next flight, guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
Would you like to hear better for as little as 10 cents a day? Now you can with the all-new Audien hearing aids. The average hearing aid lasts about 3 years. Ours, at only $99 a pair, means you're paying as little as 10 cents a day to hear better. And to make things even better, we'll give you a 45-day money-back guarantee. Skip the doctor and get hearing aids delivered straight to your door. We've eliminated all the middlemen to offer you a factory direct price of only $99 a pair. Join over 300,000 people just like you who took advantage of our 45-day trial offer. Now you can hear better too for just 10 cents a day. Call now and order your $99 pair of Audion hearing aids with a 45-day money-back guarantee. Plus, get free 3 to 5 day shipping.
800-259-1328. 800-259-1328. 800-259-1328. That's 800-259-1328.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
Brand new shows, only on AMP2 TV. We have All-in-One Insurance, Latin Hustle con Karen, Meta Magazine Show, Pitch 2 Production, The Florida Love Show, The Sixth Borough, Meet the Experts, Reinvented Life, Lights in the Night, and The Hangout. Tune in so you don't miss these amazing new shows. Only on AMP2 TV.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Hump Day!
With the Karen, Karen has a story also where she's had to struggle with some things that have happened, and the Karen you see today is not the Karen that we knew about a year ago, right? So how do you feel about what you're hearing?
I definitely can agree that once you find your purpose, once you listen to God, once you allow yourself to be guided and you improve in your life what you know you need to improve, you become a better version of you.
Now you grew up also having the fear of being yourself, and you've had some trauma and some things that happened in your life.
Yes.
Up until the death of your son. I mean, the trauma, this lady has an encyclopedia of trauma in your life. And sometimes it's really hard to focus on the goodness in life because of some of the things that you go through. But you've come and you've worked really, really hard at some of the things that you've had to overcome. And how do you feel today?
I feel a lot stronger. I feel like, God doesn't give us more than we can handle. A lot of times we question why, and our why is never going to be answered because our why is someone else's why, and maybe that someone else's why is 5 times more than yours. So it's like everything we go through in life, I just feel like it's a learning, a learning lesson, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I love that Karen comes in now and she says, well, I want to learn board, and I want to learn to edit, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. So you're taking that this opportunity and saying, I want more. Give me more.
Yes.
And that's all we need here is for someone to give us the green light, and we give you more.
Yes.
It's fun to be able to enjoy when you get in the groove and things begin to happen. And you're getting in this groove and things begin to happen and happen fast and change. I remember when I first met you and I said, come on, let's go do this. You gave me the no, I got nothing to say routine. I said, but you have a master's in communication.
And I said, and?
A master's in communications. I don't have a master's in communication. So I knew that when you were telling me some of the things you were telling me, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to a whole room full of people.
All the noise, absolutely.
I said, how many people are you going to bring into this room? So you want to sort of stay away from that. So building confidence happens, but the first step happens
The way Mandy delivers it, the way Mandy takes control of a room and empowers a room, you have everyone in there listening to you. Everyone wants to come in and say, amen. Because, you hear? You commanded this entire room.
But how do you
how
do you put Mandy in your pocket so that when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's still the same
So I was
feeling?
wondering about her coaching program and everything she's doing.
But how do you keep Mandy in your pocket? How do you wake up tomorrow? It's like when you go to church.
Do you have a podcast?
No, I don't have a podcast. Something else that's coming down the pipeline, I'm going to make that an audiobook as well. It's going to be an audiobook.
But how do we get more Mandy? More Mandy?
Well, buy the book.
Yeah, but the book is one aspect. You know, the problem with it is that you go to church every Sunday or you go to synagogue on Saturday, whatever you do. And when you leave there, you feel the spirit. You feel God's spirit. You could buy a bridge. You could sell anybody anything they want in that minute. 24 hours later, they're right back to the reason they were going to church to begin with.
True.
So how do you keep the Mandyism? What's the word? Mandyism? What do we call it?
You have one of the books that said there was like a something else ism in there too.
This is a Mandyism.
The God confidence.
I mean, you're going to have to walk around with Mandy's picture.
I don't think it's the church, the synagogue, or the four walls.
Okay, so what is it?
She said it earlier. She is the church.
Yes.
So when you
It's a
walk
message.
around, you have to. I don't go to church, and I'm very spiritual. I believe in God. I believe there's only one God and that we all have our purpose.
So let me ask you direct.
Okay.
So how do you wake up tomorrow to the same spirit?
When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I wake up in gratitude.
So you're going to wake up with the same feeling that I'm feeling from you
I'm
right
calling
now
Mandy tomorrow morning. Go, Mandy, what's my message of the day?
You know what? You know that alarm clock that we were talking about? She should be Mandy. Mandy.
We
You'd
have
be
to have her
afraid to hit
voice.
that one. No?
We have to have her voice on the alarm clock. Wake
That's
up
it.
now.
A Mandy
my good
alarm
friend
clock.
Wendy said, Mandy, well, you need a wake up call or something. I just need to hear your voice in the morning. That is funny. Maybe I'll look into that. I don't know. I'll probably look into that.
The Mandy message.
The Mandy message. That's
Dr.
true.
Mandy
You wake
message.
up in the morning, it's Mandy. Get out of bed!
How does your son react?
My son acts very. He
So
looks
see
like
my-
my son looks like my husband, but he acts like me. He's very energetic. He's very bold, and he's out there. And yeah, he
He's
acts
3?
like me. No, he's 2.
Oh, he's 2.
He turned 2.
He's 33.
He's 2.
That's when you were here last. He was a baby in a
Yes,
stroller.
Exactly. I think one of the guys were
Unbelievable.
walking him around in the studio so he could stop making noise. Yes, he was.
Oh man, he was a big boy. He's big.
Yes,
He was
is.
big when you brought him in. He's how old?
He's 2 now. Yeah.
Amazing.
Now, Arthur has his show this afternoon.
Yep.
Wisdom Cafe. Now, do you see any wisdom around you today?
Oh, are you kidding me? Listen to Mandy. Wake up in the morning and just say, thank you, God, though. You know, you could start with that. Thank you, God, I'm still here. Thank you, God, for my life. Thank you, God, for what I have in my life, whatever that is. Just be thankful. Start with gratitude. Always start with gratitude
Absolutely.
because you're here.
See, but Arthur, it takes me back to this book.
Mm-hmm.
Your quantum shift into greatness. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you is nothing compared to what lies inside of you. So it's, again, getting rid of the outside noise and tapping into what's inside, what God gave you inside.
You gotta
Finding
be-
yourself.
But you got to be able to feel.
What do you tell me? Inner core?
Inner core. You got to be able to feel your core. You got to really believe in your core. You know, like when you put on 2 different pair of shoes, you got a blue shoe and a red shoe. And you don't want to go out looking like that because you're afraid people are going to say, you got 2 different pair of shoes on. And maybe I wanted you to notice. So when I get something wrong, when I do something wrong, I says, and? Well, it's not right. Yeah, but you notice. Because otherwise, you wouldn't notice me. So you got to be able to feel your core. And this is why I love that his show is right smack in the middle of the week. Because there you have it. Right? Exactly what you've been talking about. Now, what's today's show going to be about? Today's
show is about integrity. Dawn brought it up last week when we did the hour. And I answered it a little bit, but then I kept thinking about it this whole week. And I said, there's more power in there. There's more power in this integrity. How moral are you? And is integrity and ethics the same thing? And I'm going to get into that this afternoon. Because they're kind of similar, but they're not the same.
Worlds apart, similarity.
So, living in your truth, being truthful. Truth leads to having trust and respect. I mean, there's a whole outgrowth of that from having integrity. Do you want to live in integrity or not? How do you feel about that? Do you sleep well at night? Maybe not, because you don't live in integrity. So,
well, whose definition of integrity do you live?
Look at the screen. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching.
Exactly.
Somebody's listening.
I guess our executive producer is in that
Thank you for that back there.
Now, I want to ask a question, third rail politics here. You know how they say never touch the third rail?
I was just told by our producer for you to stop being political.
I'm sorry, what?
I was told by our producer for you to stop being political.
How long have I been doing this?
A long time.
You keep asking. You keep asking. But I wanted to ask third rail politics, because is there a difference between, and I'm going to go right to Mandy, the difference between a woman in today's society doing what you're saying we should be doing and a man doing what you should be doing? Is there a difference?
So that's a very trick question. I don't think it's a difference. Because we were just talking during our break. When everybody understands their assignment, their positioning, it's no competition. I was telling them about my husband. We respect each other. First of all, my husband is a pastor. I co-pastor with him, House of Love Ministries in Sunrise, Florida. Even though he's the founder and we work together, I respect his position as a pastor. And he respects me as the one that is helping him fulfill his vision. There's no difference. Once you understand your positioning and you respect each other, there's really not a difference. You can have a powerful man and a powerful woman in the same room. As long as respect is there, we have an understanding of each other, it's really not a difference, except for your gender. That's the only difference, but you are who you are to the core.
And it's interesting because you said something that hits home. It's not a competition. You ever notice that the women's USA female soccer team, they compare it to the male soccer team in terms of payment? Why were the women making less? So they had to go to court for 3 years to win. Right? You had to go to court. Even though women's soccer is better than men's soccer. They win more, they're more attractive to look at, the whole nine. The whole night. I'm just being honest.
They do the same thing with golf.
We're same thing with golf.
Guys are
that's
winning
another. That's
$2 million, $3 million, $4 million.
That's another story. The clothing line in women's golf.
See, I took it more simplified as that. I took it just to marriage or partnership. But when everyone wants their voice to be heard, and one is trying to drown out the other, even if you're at dinner and you're out with a few couples or one couple, and you watch, someone's trying to drown out the other to make their voice heard even louder. So what do you normally see happen? The women retreat.
But that's a competition.
But that's what you're making me think of.
No,
versus
I'm saying that what Manny says is there's no competition. I love
there
the
should
fact.
be, right.
There is none. We're creating it. We're the ones
Everybody is, well, first of all, we got to think about what is the root of men getting paid more and women getting paid more. We got to take it all the way back to the 1800s. The system has been set up that way. So the only thing that we're trying to do now, they're trying to undo a system that has been generational, that has been here before you've been here. That's the only thing. So once we, is my time up?
That's good. No, they're liking what you're saying.
You're applauding. That's the way
we're
they
fighting
applaud.
against a system that has been here before we've gotten here. So that's the only thing. So I can't put myself, let's just say if I was a swimmer and I swam with a guy, That's not a competitive advantage, because chromosome-wise, show the guy is more stronger than me. I don't care how you put it. A man is, their chromosomes and the way they're created, they're going to always be stronger. So that wouldn't be fair. But if you put me with another woman, and she so happened to win, well, that's fair. That's fair competition because of the way our body was created, our chromosomes. So with a man and a woman, again, there's no competition. Once we understand our assignment and what we were created to do, there's no competition. You're stronger than me, so yeah, I'm gonna ask you to pick up the box. So you're stronger than me. I'm not gonna pick it up. I'm gonna remain in my femininity, in my positioning, and be strong where I'm supposed to be strong, and be okay with it.
Well, I love that you said that. When I started working with you, like the very first year, week, month, whatever it was, someone says to me, give up your femininity. The exact opposite of what you said. She says, you sit at that table and you put your you-know-what on the table.
What
and
do
you
know
act
what?
like your cojones on the table. And you be a man. Which is the, and I said, what? That's not who I am. I am as feminine as not as masculine. I'm not giving up.
Have
me.
I ever asked you to put those things on the table?
You never did, but this woman did. She said, if you're going to be in this business in a man's world, this is what you need to do. So I love the fact that you said the exact opposite. Embrace who you are. Embrace your femininity if that's who you are.
And you know, it's so funny.
Can you imagine?
My sister said to me when I first started this business, do you know how you treat mom? I go, yeah. Says, that's how you treat every woman. And if I hear something different, you know, Mimi, you're going to hear from me. So all of a sudden, that's the only thing I've ever done, is I treat people like I treat my mom. And mom, you know, she was my girlfriend longer than any other woman in my life. She's always been mom. I mean, everybody, guys with their moms, it's just a whole different world. So it's just the opposite. I had to retract. But then I started saying, you know something, I don't want to make it soft. I always told you, you and me, we see things in an even plane. And if you want something, we go get it. And I'm going to say the same thing. I want something, we go get it. Okay? But this isn't a competition. This is about, you know, sometimes you have to work in unison to get to a point you want to get to.
Yeah. You and I, it can't be a competition.
For what? What am I competing against myself for?
Except today when I was back there in the corner and he says to me, you're the only one that fits back there. I said, so maybe we should really rewire things.
So
I'm not the only one turning on the
and
light.
and what did I do?
You moved it.
And I moved it.
Did you get it to work?
Yeah.
It didn't work there.
It's because you didn't have to touch. But it's back there and it's being used, and I said, you know something, it's not a good situation. I don't want her going back there either, so I went and I moved the damn thing. Simple.
It can't, competition, unless it's going to elevate everybody and it's an equal playing field, it's not better to be one better than the other.
Listen, I asked Karen to host and own the Spanish platform. Not the show alone. That's easy. Latin Hustle. I want the whole gamut. I want Latin this, Latin that. Every show that we do, I want it put into Spanish so we can communicate with those who can't understand the English language as a first language.
We met with someone today about Roku channels.
Yeah.
About people having their own Roku channels, which you and I have done for a very long time. Imagine her, the Dr. Mandy channel.
Oh no, I'm way ahead of you.
I know.
I already have it designed. I got everything. I see the cover.
But she's doing her own thing in church. But I'm glad you're at church because at least people can go to church and hear you.
I don't only speak in churches. I speak at women conferences, expos, whatever. Let me not say whatever. That's not true. It depends what it is. But I do speak outside of church. I am a speaker by trade. So if somebody's having an event, whether it's how to become an entrepreneur, I can speak on that because I have a master's, in business. So different things I speak on, but you're going to get everything. So you won't just get me talking about business. You're going to get my whole essence. I'm bringing everything to the table. That's all you can do is bring who you are to the table. I'll bring a little spin to it. So you're going to learn about business. You'll get a little Jesus too at the same time, but you're going to learn about business. Definitely. So yes.
We talked about that Friday. We did a show and I was so tired Friday. I said to you, I can't do the show. And you said, oh yes, you are. You're going to do this show.
And we did it.
But it was about business and the host of the show, she has her master's in business as well.
One of the best shows that we had done. I was so happy with that show that I played it on the radio that night.
And it was how you can't take you, or you can't take Jesus, or you can't take religion and business. You can't separate all these pieces of you. Because all of these pieces make who you are, whoever you are, whatever you believe in. So you needed a little bit of everything, right? She needed the empowerment, and she talked about change and weight loss and mindset and business and all of the changes that take place to get you where you need to get.
And I told her sometimes with us, doing a show with her is easy because we understand the dance. But it's those that don't know how to dance are the ones you want to talk to. Those are the ones that you want to relate to, the ones that give you the friction. The one that says, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and they give you the wave. I love the wave. This is my favorite sign. The ones that scream and argue and say, you don't know what you're talking about. I says, okay, let's go. Let me show you I know what I'm talking about. The ones that, if you give them this workbook, which I believe every kid in the world going to college or high school should have, and you sit down with them after they go through this, and you're going to find a whole different person afterwards. And this gentleman right here is the one that put that
So here's what I opened to on page 56. Always a coincidence in the studio. What prevents you from being your authentic self?
And you got to answer that. And you got to be truthful.
Right.
And there's no hiding from truth. You see, truth don't lie.
What are some things that you want to change, and will you allow yourself to make the changes? See, that's the key, Arthur, is we can all look in our inside and say, because we all have the ability to look in ourselves when all that noise is around us and say, I don't like what they're saying. This is really who I am. This is what I want to change. But are you willing to do the work to make the change?
That always gets back to one of my favorite quotes, and that's Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. But change is happening all the time. And I always say change is happening with or without your permission.
True.
So do you want to be part of the change or be the change, or do you want to have change happen to you?
Change is going to happen to you, so you may as well get on the bus.
You got to catch up. That's why I tell you I don't believe in boundaries and all that stuff. No, what is it? I don't.
You don't believe in boundaries either.
No, when they create, when you say, I create manifesting.
Oh, yeah.
I said, well, it already happened. You're catching up. You know, being observant to something that you're able to do, people call that a miracle. I said, oh my God, I did that. It was a miracle. And I said, what are you talking about? I saw that miracle every day leading up to you doing that. Catch up. Believe not only in the good, bad, and indifferent, but believe in yourself, and good things will always, always happen. Don't leave nothing on the table.
But everything is changing. Arthur, you're absolutely right. Make your changes, because it's going to happen with or without you, right? You look at pictures, you look back 10 years, 15 years, and what you look like now, even if it's just physical, change happens. Doesn't make a difference whether you lose the weight, gain the weight, gravity happens, life happens, you're going to change.
I know. I laugh when people say, look, I'm 63, 71, 50. I said, so many ages, so many numbers, so what? Then I look at that little girl that was born, and I'm 12 again. Because she's just born, and I'm 61. And
now you got your words of wisdom to give your granddaughter.
Man, let me tell you, I just love the aspect every day of coming in and learning something new. And seeing something over and over again and watching it grow into something special. And I tell you this every day. I go to Walt Disney World every day when I come to work. How many people can say that? Now, you deal with people on an everyday basis, right? And you take in and you give out and you're doing the things that you do.
Yes.
You know, your game has to be at that level all the time. You got to be the high frequency.
I agree. We
Ain't
all,
easy.
That little girl that was just born, we need people like her empowering these children. Us as
Agreed.
parents need to play at that level, at the level I'm at, or try to stay at all the time. And it's depleting sometimes to be on and taking care of everyone all the time. It is. But that's what we have to do if we want a better generation. That little girl has you, I'm sure.
Well, we got to get
parents-
to the parents in order to get to her.
Exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
where the work begins.
And she's 37, she said. That's a perfect age. These kids are now having kids, and they should be raising them like that.
Shay, do you feel empowered listening to this?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely do.
See, I want to take our new summer crew to a different level. I
I want to start out the box. I think that's one of the mistakes that we've done is that we let them get comfortable. We're done with that. And I don't mean that way. I just don't want them comfortable no more, because life ain't comfortable. If you think life is comfortable, man, you're on the wrong show.
We have to put them in, like we're doing with Shay and Elisa right now. You got to
Just
put in and
put them in there. Show them the problem.
show them the right.
Show them the problems that we're having. Find a cure. Get it fixed. Get it done. And after you do that, get some more.
The critical thinking of what
You
it
got to
is.
be able to do that.
And when they're doing it, they've got double ears in the other room.
Because they're trying to figure out the issue. And it's interesting how no matter how bad the situation is, there's always a way. There's always a way. You just got to find it.
Here's week 15. Be fearless. To be fearless is to live life with freedom in the face of the unknown without being careless, reckless, or foolish.
Where'd you get all these thoughts when you wrote this?
Okay, so just like when at my age, these thoughts have been happening forever.
Your whole life?
My whole life. So I started out basically somewhere in my late 20s, trying to understand why my relationships were the way they were. Some okay, some not so good. But what was my part in that? So I've always been invested in understanding me. And then I reached out and also wanted to understand, why does the world work this way? Why do we do the things that we do? There's not always a good answer for these things because we're so individual. But the reality is that there's one thing about us, that we are all the same energy and we are all the same makeup. What makes us think differently? What makes us do the things that we do? We do things differently because of the way we grew up. Now, we talked about Mandy. She has a 2-year-old. She's 37 years old. She is forming her child right now. He is listening to what she has to say. And for the first 7 years, whatever she has to say is gospel for him. It's 100%, because he doesn't know where to get the information from anywhere else. He will when he gets to school, and you'll start to hear other things. And he will from his schoolmates, he'll hear other things. And then from his schoolmates' parents, and then on the news, and then if he's playing, they see that's a whole thing. I don't want to get into social media, but I didn't have that social media growing up. And now today with social media, you have divisive voices all over the place, yelling at you, trying to make you think the way they think. If we can get to, right?
Here's your quote. Love is what we were born with. Fear is what we have learned. And that's from Marianne Williamson.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, when you're raising your kid, like you say she's doing, and you learn all of these things, like I was an altar boy for a long time, and I did it but I did it because my mother says, you know, the church, if you stay with God, it will always get you to where you wanted to go. So when I was 12, I was sitting in a gymnasium with a lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles named Blafar. And Mr. Blafar was a guard that blew out his knee, and he decided to come to our school to coach. So he picked me out of 300 kids to go work. And I got a job with Frank's Army and Navy. I was 12 years old taking the 4 train to go to work on 3rd Avenue, which was not a good place. But I did it. And I did it because I always believed that because I was an altar boy and God was looking over my shoulder, I got this job. So here I'm 12 years old, making $400 a week. I was making good money.
That's huge.
It was crazy. My father used to come on Sundays, because I worked on Sundays, in the afternoon. He used to come to get me because I was getting paid. And I didn't want to walk around with cash or a check or whatever. I was 12. And he used to pick me up. But as you get older and things begin to happen in your life, you still have that in the back of your mind. You know, I think you call it that guilt thing. But you still have that thing that the mom and dad taught you. But what happens when the future or the present begins to chip away at some of these things? You know, you start seeing on the news about a priest molesting kids. Or you start, and I went to a school where the head guy was arrested. It was big news in New York City.
Ethics.
I think if you're raised from day one with a mother like this, genuinely, and a father like I'm assuming your husband is, it's hard for that to get in after later, the present. I think a lot of the confusion, a lot of the fear, and a lot of the things happening in our time and age are because we haven't had parents who are present and we have social media, we have video games, we have sitters who are on their social media not taking care of the kids.
Or what about parents that work 3 or 4 jobs and really don't know what
They
their
have,
kids are
okay.
doing?
And that's, again, there was always the grandmother. I was raised, my mother had a job. She couldn't take care of me all the time. My father had a job. He was a doctor. He couldn't take care of me. My abuelita did. But there was always some family member. We don't have that same family structure anymore.
No, it's different now. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to hear from our crew because they're a younger generation, and I always hope, and I say this all the time, that part of the reason I do what I do is that I hope we can get to the girls and the guys at a younger age than 40s or 50s to feel empowered and really believe in who they are. So I want to hear how they feel about that. More to come. We'll be right back.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422. For no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Stephanie Jaffe is a world-renowned artist who creates one-of-a-kind pieces. Using a keen sense of color and composition, her vibrant collages and mosaics integrate eclectic elements such as vintage keepsakes and fine china with blown glass and fired clay to create whimsical arrangements. For more information about her work, come down to the Brooklyn Cafe TV studio or go to StephanieJaffeArt.com.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days. All in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
Call 855-348-5925. That's 855-348-5925. Again, 855-348-5925.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 855-993-2180. That's 855-993-2180. Again, 855-993-2180.
Come on down to the Brooklyn Cafe and enjoy our delicious 100% Arabica organic coffee. You can also tune into the Brooklyn Cafe show and have the chance to win a free bag. For more information on how to get your own bag, check us out at thebrooklyncafe.tv.
Do you enjoy watching the Brooklyn Cafe show? Well, now you can represent your admiration with our merchandise. We have amazing t-shirts in a variety of sizes for you and your friends. Shop now at brooklyncafe.tv/shop.
Hey Kaylee, what's up?
Hey, nothing. What's up?
Nothing. Just looking for music for Grandpa that I listen to while we're in the car.
What's wrong with listen to now?
Let's just say we have different tastes, you know?
Why don't you try listening to a podcast on Spotify?
Like which one?
The Brooklyn Cafe Studio one is really good.
Okay, I'll try that one out. Thanks.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought. You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
So you can find all of our shows on Spotify, wherever you find your music, Apple Music, Spotify, Amp It Up FM, anywhere you listen.
How do you get this book?
It's available on our website, mandyfreshfrederick.org. It's available on the website, mandyfreshfrederick.org/shop.
And I'm really glad that our crew is here because Mandy is so powerful and your message was so strong. They were applauding for you in the control room. So I wanted to hear from them what they thought, what they're thinking.
That's Shazam and Josh.
Shay and Josh, what do you guys think of the message of today?
I'm on A2, you're on A3, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure they do a quick
A2
sound
and
check
A3.
before we're talking. Just, you know. Okay. No, I mean, I applaud you for everything that you say because that's what you have to have. You have to have confidence, which I don't have. But, I mean, I'm glad that you have it and that you bring it out for everyone to feel, you know, that they have it and that they need to bring it out.
Yeah, I think it's super important what you're doing, and I really look up, especially, you know, as we were kind of saying before, as women, sometimes it can be really hard for us to be able to express ourselves, and also sometimes people will say like, oh, you're just being too arrogant or, you know, whatnot. But when in reality, you're just trying to show your confidence. So I think that's really, I like how you talked about it and how there's definitely a huge difference between the two. And yeah, I really enjoyed your talk today.
Teddy, can you put up their camera? They're on 3. Thank you. Do you feel different by listening to her message? You know, when you're in school, and I know Josh, you're out, that you can walk into a room and command your presence, to step into your power, as I say.
I mean, yeah, I think it's super valuable information, especially for young people who, you know, are trying to figure out their way. I'm still in college, so I'm still trying to figure things out, and hearing advice like that really, really does help a lot, kind of, again, to just be assertive and to be confident whenever you can be.
I like what you said about arrogance versus confidence, going back to that as well too, just because I always have this mindset, if I ever not think about myself, but think as myself on a higher plateau, that I'm being selfish. So that's when I put myself back down to try to, I don't want to say equal the playing field, but just, you know.
He dumps it down.
Yeah. I try to put myself back down in the little groove, I guess. But I was at the psychiatrist's doctor's office, I think Monday it was, and I asked her, is there a cure to shyness? And she actually goes, talk to yourself in the mirror and just practice with that. So I got to see what that.
And mind you, he is well liked and well versed, and when we go out to do other gigs, he actually controls his environment really, really well. So when he talks this way, I just want to crawl under a rock because I don't understand what he's talking about. Now that's on me because I don't see that. I see something completely different. And I've always told him, raise up, don't play small, play big. So here's a classic example. I mean, this kid is talented. He plays instruments, he does shows, he has a great sense of humor. Everybody loves being around Josh. And here you hear him saying that he's pushing down his shine. I don't understand.
So what's your advice, Mandy?
So the question I would ask Josh is, who are you hanging around? Who's your support system? Who do you have pouring into you? Because when I look at Freddie, that's like a mentor, just based on me for the short period of time. He's like your mentor. He sees your greatness even though you don't see your greatness. He sees your greatness. And this is somebody that you want to stick around to help groom that, to pull it out. So I would check my surroundings, who I call my friends. Are my friends bringing out the best of me, or are my friends reducing me? Am I comfortable being my genuine great self around my friends, or do I have to, like you said, bring it down a notch? Because if you have to try to bring it down a notch to appease the people around you, then that may not be your people. So the way you kind of like overcome that shyness, because he said he don't see what you see, because when y'all go to other functions, you come on. That means you're in your environment. So if you're in an environment that's not conducive for you to come on, then you might want to question that.
No, I definitely have, as of right now, that I can think of 3 groups of friends, and I have 3 different faces for each group that I hang around with.
Okay.
Well, I'll say one, the studio. That's me being my extrovert, happy self. My bandmates, and then that's where I get shy and just want to focus on music and all that, I guess. But I get shy around them. And then my groups of friends that I've known since kindergarten, which I really try to stay away from now because I don't like the way they talk and all that. So I'm trying to see things, like, as you say, just point out who you hang around with now.
Yeah, that does matters.
It matters.
You're a great musician,
So
by the way, so don't be shy in your
musician.
musician.
Sorry. I think it's really important for us to recognize a couple of things about ourselves, and that is the importance of telling Josh how great he is. Because he is. Now, Josh, you see me around a little bit, right? But I feel like I already know you. I know who you are as a person. You show up all the time with confidence that I see, that maybe you don't feel that you're exuding, but you are, to me, a very polished, confident, sure guy who really knows what he's doing. And I rely on that. So I think you're terrific. And I think if we could do that to more people, if we could tell them their worth or their value as we see it, that helps uplift them. I always say that when we do good things for people, when we smile at people, when we're gracious, when we're empathetic, when we're caring, that's selfish and selfless. It's selfless because we're giving something to somebody. It's selfish because it feeds me. It makes me feel good to do something like that for somebody. So all of these things in life, all of these virtues that we possess that we don't use, empathy, caring, compassion, all of that, that's from God because it's based in love. And so when my foundation is based in love, everything comes from that. My kindness and every other virtue. That's where we need to be. And so I say that again to Josh and anybody else. I want to say that more to more people because I want to show them their value and want to show them that they're appreciated.
You know, it's interesting you say that because Teddy is running the board and she's super shy. But she's not, because Teddy has actually hosted shows for other
shy?
companies. She, in her own way.
Okay.
In her own way, she's shy. But if you put Teddy on the spot, she does real well. And we've known Teddy now almost 6 years. And I got to tell you, every soldier in here, every kid in here, because I call them my kids, are just above and beyond where they got to go. And I love the fact that they entrust us to steer this ship and let's go. You know, and when I first met Josh and I found out that he plays guitar and instruments, he's artist galore. I mean, he's a great artist as well. He has so many different qualities, that all of them drink from his wine. And they all get better because he makes people better. So I hate it when he gives me the shoulder shrug. Josh, what do you think? I hate it when he does that because I think that if he were to ever push through that and actually believe and give me the damn ball because I am the greatest, you're going to see a whole different Josh. But so will they. Everybody will be involved in this whole different Josh. Same thing with Teddy. And it's not to put pressure on him. I don't want him to get there tomorrow. I just want him to know that others realize his shine. You know, I always say this to Dawn. Dawn always gives off her shine. She does things and she says to you, oh, Arthur, that's a great idea. And you'll say, what idea? I didn't even say anything, because that's the way she is. You can't give away your shine. You got to live your shine so that others will shine with you. When you start giving away your shine, it's not gonna be real because they're not gonna see that they can do it themselves. I mean, that's just my 2 cents.
Can I say something to Josh, right? So when I look at you, don't get spooky. You'll be like, what's she talking about? This is what I see, okay? When I look at you, it's like I see you centered, but then you're pulled from different direction. And you say you're going to therapy, you're doing your thing, you got your psychiatrist. I believe once you get centered from whatever, environmental factors and things of when you grew up, certain things happen. Once you get healed from that, all of you is going to become one so you can fully show up in who God created Josh to be. Right now, the reason why different people gets different parts of you, because sometimes as growing up, either certain traumatic situations took place and it kind of splits us in different parts. But with you going through your counseling and doing what you need to do to get yourself together, I just see God taking you and putting you all back together. Once all these pieces come back together, then Josh will believe what people say about him because he's going to know it. So continue to do your process, go through your process. We all have a process that we have to go through. I had to go through a process. So when I looked at you, I was looking in the mirror where I used to be. But continue to go on your process. Everything is going to come together. How old are you anyways? How old are you?
23.
You're 23. Yeah. The 30-year-old Josh is going to be totally different. Continue to go through your process. It's okay. We all been through some things. But God is going to put you back together again. He's going to mend these places. He's going to mend these different hurt spaces. And once the full healed Josh come to forefront, then you can really, truly be your authentic self. And that is what he's going to do for you. By the time you hit 30, the Josh you see today won't be the same Josh. I promise you.
I love the messages of today. So my message of today is we're going to push the summer crew a little bit harder, Josh.
Shay's here too, though, you know.
We're pushing her.
There you go.
We're going to push
Yeah, but
Shay.
Shay, but
Shay
Shay.
and Elisa,
No, we can talk more about
because
it.
we know and we got to wrap this up because we got Arthur's show coming up.
But I gotta tell you, Shay is here. She's only been here 2 weeks, and I've pushed Shay harder than I even pushed you. I've thrown her into all sorts of situations, good, better, and different.
We've put Shay and Elisa on sound. I'm putting Royce on sound next week because they're that good. They don't know they are, but you're that good.
Thank
so
you.
we're going to do it. You guys had it all going today. They had sound. They were looking at wires. You got to understand what makes this place tick to bring it to the next level. So we got you. Mandy, your message is tremendous, and I thank you for everything. I could listen to you all day. So thank you for reaching out to us this week and saying you wanted to share your book again, because we are so grateful that the God confidence is within you, and now you share it within us. And Arthur, 3 great books. All I can say is tune in today at 3 o'clock to the Wisdom Cafe with Arthur Tassinello. More to come. Today is about integrity and integrity versus ethics, 2 different things. And right now, we all need some integrity from within, and you got to hold on to those ethics because maybe they're not one and the same. Diana, thank you again to our crew, as always, spectacular, and to you and your family. Congratulations again on baby Juliana. She's beautiful, yet she does look like you.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon, everyone, and we'll see you in a little bit.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.